The mics have been muted this whole time.
You're kidding.
Oh my
You're
god.
kidding.
Wow.
No, I'm not. Oh well.
Wow.
It's fine. This podcast has just been doomed to fail from
That's
the
why
start.
nobody's said anything.
Wow.
Oof. Oof.
Is anybody even there?
Yeah, we've got one viewer.
Me.
Well,
Oh, then it's Tyler.
Yeah, I was waiting in the chat for anything to happen.
all right, let's go eat.
Oh my
God
god.
damn.
Well, there was a nice story.
I mean, we only got like what? 13 minutes
20
left?
minutes?
15, 20 minutes, yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow.
Sorry, this podcast has been canceled due to technical difficulties.
But yeah, most of the time when you
Play
call,
Spanish Flea for the next
when
15
you
minutes.
when you work with a dealership, they call you a lot to tell you.
I'm sorry. Somebody else is gonna take your spot from now on.
Yeah, you're fired.
This isn't the first time you've messed it
It's
up.
the first time in a long time I have.
You're fired.
Cut
I'm
me
taking
some
over.
slack.
First time I've seen the issue.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, whenever I bought my car, the salesman kept sending me like holiday cards and like
Yeah.
Come
shit
back
like that.
soon.
no, like I'm so happy, blah 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 that this happened and it's
If
just
I
like
get this card from the person I bought my car from, I'll be creeped out.
Yeah, I'd be
and
like,
it's just
how do
it's
you?
like dude, chill.
No-
It's like I'm pretty sure you get commission on these things, so
Yeah.
I mean, good
Don't
for
spend your
you.
commission sending me cards.
He's spending his commission on all of his greeting cards. He sends you a bottle of wine. You're like, all right, things have gone too far.
It's like okay, I don't
still
see
get
what you're trying to say.
Monthly
Right
calendars from our realtor.
Nice.
Why?
monthly calendars? What
Monthly?
the fuck?
Monthly calendars.
Is it just like 1 month, or is it like?
Just 1 month, and it's about, I don't know, 8 inches by 5, and it's magnetic, so we stick it on the fridge.
I mean, I guess that's useful, but I mean,
Why?
Except we bought the house like
years
10
ago.
years ago.
Yeah, you're sitting there. You're thinking. You're like, what was her name?
Yeah.
She sold me the house. I don't know, but I'll use the calendar. And you stick it on the refrigerator and you start marking all your appointments on it.
Actually, well, it was kind of specific. We went to this one guy because my dad went to high school with him.
Okay, well that's a little different.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. Still.
It's like when we were looking to move from where we
What if that
were.
was
It's like
part- Sorry.
it's like he knew it was like we'll use this guy because I know him.
Yeah.
What if part of the deal, like in the house, was like, but you gotta send me a monthly
Yeah.
calendar.
Yeah.
But I need a
As long as I
calendar
live there.
every month that I live there. You gotta send me a calendar. I will buy it only if you do
That
that.
has to
You
be
sh-
added on to this deal.
You should have requested like a slice of cheesecake or like chocolate cake or something every month.
You send me a ham every month, and the house is
Jesus.
yours.
That's
A ham?
a ham's
God
a little
damn.
bit too much, man. We
Hey,
got
I
a
could have asked.
calendar.
I could have asked for steaks.
I mean,
How about a calendar?
yeah, a nice, but I mean a nice.
You know what? A
dinner,
calendar's
but-
pretty. I mean, it's pretty comparable, and it's.
A little bit more reasonable.
You know, it's funny though. Whenever you go to a dealership or something, or even if you're talking to a realtor, they really like depending on what your job is, that changes the way they act towards you.
Oh yeah.
It's like I was looking at motorcycles. You know, I'm just a young guy. I probably don't have much money.
And
And,
then
I
you're
told
like-
him, he's like, "Where do you work?" I was like, "Oh, I work at the Kentucky Truck Plant."
And he's
It
he's
instantly
like,
changed.
oh well, look at this, and he
so
starts showing you all the
he
expensive
started
stuff.
showing me the more expensive motorcycles, and it's just amazing because nobody was interested in helping. When
Well, I
I
mean,
first
even
showed
when
up.
we went to the Kia store, that dude seriously thought you were considering buying
oh, yeah,
a
that-
Stinger,
yeah,
the $60,000 Stinger, because we even told him. You said, and I quote, "Hey, do you guys have any Stingers that we can look at? You know, just for shits and giggles." The guy's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And we started talking on the way to the car. And he's like, you know, Nate was asking the guy, and he's like, "So where are you working?" He's like, "Oh, I work at Ford." And I don't know, he didn't show it because the guy's only been there like 4 months as a salesman, is what he said. But when we started getting out there and we started looking at the cars, he was like hard selling that Stinger GT to Nate. Like he was hard selling. He's like, "Yeah, it's got the heads-up display, the V6 twin turbo. It's got the."
As
all
soon as
this
he
stuff.
sits down in the front seat and it's like, oh, it just fits you like a glove, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then
it,
he's like,
it was the same when I bought my Focus too. Like I show up at the dealership, and that was like when I just started working at Ford, and I show up with my dad, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm looking for a new Focus ST," and they're like, "This kid can't afford that," and so they're just kind of, "Oh yeah, we don't have any at the moment." He's like, "Where you work?" I said, "I work at Ford." He's like, "Oh, let me go make some phone calls for you real quick." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
It's like, yeah, let me go order one real fast.
He's like, "We actually just sent one out, but we can get it sent back." I was like, "Yeah, all right."
was
It's
that
fucking shitty.
I mean, that's just
I
how
mean, that's
works.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't want to
business,
go
but
say,
it's
hey,
shitty.
we're
Was
going
that
to go
that
for a
one dealership
joyride
in
for a car you
Sellersburg?
clearly can't afford.
That was
Yeah.
the Ford dealership in Clarksville.
Speaking of Ford dealerships, do you know that they've got the new Rangers now?
Really?
Yep.
They got one. I want to go test drive the one at Jim O'Neill.
The one in Sellersburg. There's
Yes.
a 4x4 in Louisville for
Yeah,
$54,000,
it's fucking ridiculous.
but it's loaded. I think
The
it's
one
got
in
all the
Sellersburg's
options.
almost loaded.
Is it a 4x4 though?
It's not it's not a Lariat or how do you say it, but it's the XLT, but it's got like almost all the same stuff.
I don't know. I'll trim it. Is it
Have you had to
4x4?
work on any of them?
Yes, it's 4x4.
It's 4x4.
What?
No,
Have you had to work on? I didn't know if they did it at your plant.
The
No, they
Ranger
probably
was
do
in
that at the
Michigan, I'm
escape
pretty
plant.
sure.
Really?
Hold on, guys. I just want to say real quick, like, you know how there's one viewer right now, and that's me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, when we first started, there were two. So I
That's
feel
me for a
sorry for
second.
them.
Okay.
That was me for a second.
I was gonna say most people, if they don't hear anything, they'll say something.
Yeah, no,
I
they
didn't have
tell
the
you.
volume on. 'cause
I know.
wanted to
Yeah.
Well, I
play
know.
out.
But yeah, like if it was like actually somebody here to listen to the podcast, it'd be like, "Am I supposed to hear sound right now?" And I'd be like, "Oh shoot!" And then you turn the sound on.
You could get an Edge ST.
No. See,
Is that the
here,
turbocharged
here's
one?
here's my
They
problem.
They threw the little engine he's got in his car into an Edge.
Oh, it's still. a
They're also
4-cylinder?
doing an Escape ST, aren't they?
That's what I was thinking of was the Escape. The Escape weren't they? Didn't they have a turbocharged one? With the V6.
Are they gonna throw a V6 back in the
No.
escape?
No, they
Yeah.
stopped putting V6s in everything.
The Escape?
Yeah.
Actually, buddy at work owns an Escape. It's twin turbo.
Yeah, I thought they had a twin turbo Escape.
What year is it?
2016.
I can tell you right now, when my dad bought that Lincoln, there were two things he was not happy about. One of them, I think, he ended up getting over because Ford has some of the newer Ford cars. When you open the gas cap, they have that weird adapter nozzle thing that you have to use to put gas in them, and he was worried that he was gonna have that.
Weird adapter. You have to put
Yeah,
gas
I
in.
think there was a couple years. I think even my grandmother's Taurus has this, where you can't just get at a gas pump and put gas in it. Like there's some
No, that's
weird.
that's for gas cans.
Yeah, are you talking about for gas cans?
I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause
yeah,
if-
because my mom's SUV has that. You can just go to a pump and do that, but if you want to pour it out of a gas can, you have to use that.
My car came with a special funnel. for
The
gas
other
cans.
thing that he was not a fan
It's-
of.
It's prevent siphoning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Windshield wipers. They have the stupid, annoying Ford clip that he has to work on at work. Like when people they'll buy windshield wiper blades and they'll be like, "Hey, can you install them?" My dad's like, "Well, we don't usually do installations, but I will." And then he'll go out there and it's like, "Oh, I've got it on a Ford F-150," and he's already angry because apparently the clips on those the newer Ford windshield wipers are not just that typical.
It should only take them
The typical
45
J-clip.
seconds to do it.
He
That's
doesn't
how-
work in
that's
the
how long
plant.
it takes at the plant. If you can't do it in 45 seconds, you're fired.
But those guys know what they're doing.
Actually, that's the whole job. There's a lot more than just that. So you gotta do that in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, he was not a fan. He's still not a
I wonder
fan
how
of
training
those.
works. Oh, you're training? It's better be 45 seconds now.
Dude,
Once
so-
you get good, it's going to be less.
No, so the training, the way we do the training, right?
Yeah, the
You
training
spend
is
one day-
within 5 seconds.
You
Okay,
spend-
it's 50 seconds. All right, it's fine today. Tomorrow, it better be fucking 45.
Really?
So you spend one day, 10 hours doing half the job, so you can get better at it. You spend the next day doing the other half of the job.
and then you're
And the third day, you do every other truck for the beginning, and then you start trying to hold the job, and you're not going to be able to hold it for a while. It's just how it is. You're not going to be able to hold it, and you're going to stop the line. You're going to get yelled at. You just have to survive after that. That's just how it works. So
that sounds horrible.
It is.
Get
It is.
better or get fired.
every single person on my line, their first week has wanted to quit. And we've had, like, I was talking to some girl. She's like, I went out to my car and cried, and I thought about driving home and just quitting. Like, it's just, that's how it is. It just
But I mean,
sucks.
you talk about a job like Ford where it's manual labor and they pay well and they've got good benefits. They've got 450 million people ready to take your job. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they
You've
can just
gotta-
replace you in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
so.
you've just got to stick it out.
They still sell the Taurus?
Yeah.
I thought they stopped selling that.
I think that
I think
what
they might
year?
stop
I thought
selling it in the
17
US.
or 18 was the last year.
Yeah, I
I
think
thought
it
they were
was.
still going to make it for
19.
overseas.
19, really?
Overseas, I'm pretty sure keeping it.
What?
Interesting.
Taurus, I thought.
Yeah, overseas I
Taurus?
think they are, but
yeah.
not in the
I thought they
States.
stopped making it a while ago.
I thought they stopped making it in 18. I thought
no, I thought
18
it
was
was
the last
14.
model year.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought-
No, heck
This year is
no.
going to be.
No, because my grandmother has a
They don't
16.
make them right now.
16 or a
positive.
17. She
Yeah,
has a
it's
16 or a 17. My grandmother does.
Yeah,
You
Taurus
saw
is
it.
definitely go up to
They don't
five.
have a 17 either. I don't
Yeah, they
think.
do. It was about 2017 when they started saying they were going to quit making them.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the Fusions, wasn't there? Or the Fusion stuck around.
Because I could have
No,
sworn
the
last
Fusions
year.
are still around.
Yeah.
Because
they were talking about
I thought when I was
looking
looking for my Focus, I was thinking about getting one of those tour shows.
SHOs.
Yeah, and
shows.
I call them shows. I mean,
That's-
and
Joe,
it didn't.
man.
I didn't see the Taurus in the Ford list.
It stands for super high output.
yeah, that's a stupid abbreviation.
The tempos came in.
Super high output.
They
They were
Super
SHO
high
tempos.
back in the day they were beating Mustangs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
Not the tempos.
oh, when we went to that John Jones up in Corden, they had one of those Fiat 124 Spiders.
I want to test drive one of those.
I want to test drive one, but I sat in it. Not for me.
You
Nope.
know what
You're too
you know
tall.
what Ford stands for?
Oh God. Here
Fix it again, Tony.
It's Fiat.
we go.
That's exactly how it went.
That's how the joke goes, my guy.
I don't know if you knew that, Nick, but that's exactly how it goes in the show. Except it was more like, Dale, that spells Fiat, and then he looks and he goes, fix it. Oh.
No, Ford is fix or repair daily.
Found
Yeah.
or first on race day. Almost did the bad one. The found on roadside dead.
I mean, that's true too.
I need to start stealing these from work.
What are they?
They're kind of expensive.
He says as he
the-
pulls it out of his pocket.
Well, it's because he
Shut
just got done working on my car.
The little trim clips.
Oh.
Yeah. My bumper's not.
Yeah, because they're practically universal.
Yeah.
But that,
you get all kinds of spare parts just laying all over the floor. You just pick them up and take them home with you.
And when they ask, it's like, hey, I'm just cleaning
I mean-
up garbage.
Way to go saying that online. Hypothetically speaking.
I don't think they care about a 5-cent piece of.
Yeah, you
trim.
realize they
Like, we-
probably
I-
pay
they- I
pennies
threw-
for that.
Before
You
shutdown.
say that. You say that.
Before
but-
shutdown, I threw away at least $5,000 worth of trim, just because we had to find somewhere to hide it. Because they didn't want to pay taxes on it after the new year, so we just have to. We have to get rid of all the extra stuff.
Toss it.
So my supervisor said, just make it disappear. So I took it and threw it in the dumpster.
You just
Make
said
it
Ford's
disappear?
tax
What do you
evasion
mean?
over the internet.
I mean, it's like
Oh,
whenever
God.
we went to the shutdown for the escape plant, because that thing is filled with welders, and they have copper welding tips, and they automatically eject the copper welding tips and get new ones, and then start doing that. You can make a fuck ton of money if you were to just take all those. Like, you could walk home with pounds of copper every day from those welding tips.
Could, but nobody should, nor
I mean,
does anybody do that
It's just
because
a hypothetical situation where you could, but if they caught you, you'd get fired, lost your job,
No, that-
fined, and a bunch of other stuff.
That's how you're supposed to do it legally. You have to dispose of it or scrap it before the beginning of the next year.
It's
So-
just the way it sounded.
It's just
make
the
it
fact that-
disappear.
I'm just imagining Nick going, "How exactly do you want me to do that?"
Well, I was
It's
talking to
like-
the supervisor.
it's like-
Supervisor just walks away.
No,
Doesn't even ask.
I was talking to him. He's like, I just want you to make him disappear. I was like, what do you want me to do? You want me to just throw him away? He's like, there's a dumpster over there. I'm not telling you to throw it away. The dumpster's over here. I was like, okay.
Oh, got it. Got it.
Noted.
But no, Nick, that Fiat, because I think they're all convertibles,
They
which
are.
is a
They're-
little
that's what
annoying.
the spider is.
Yeah,
There's no hard top. I
But-
looked at that.
I'm sitting in there and like I lean back in the seat and my forehead's like almost touching, like I feel my hair
He's
touching the
like that,
freaking top, and then like my forehead was almost touching the fucking sun visor. Like it was really annoying. And like if I wanted to lean forward to use the steering, like the anything on the dashboard, like I had to duck. And
Dude, I bet you wouldn't fit in John's car very well at all.
It was funny. He drove my car right around the block.
I'll
and
drive
he's
your
like
car.
ducking, trying to see how to drive. I'm like, what do you mean? He's not tall enough. But like, I don't know, because it's got the
It's got like the
Tense.
window. So the window's already pretty small, like on the Corvette. You know?
is it small or is it big but really
No, it's-
steep
it's-
incline?
Mine is.
Yeah,
That's how mine
it's
is.
just a steep angle, really. But
Yeah,
it's-
'cause-
you only got like it's like that big,
and then
and
there's
half of it's like a sun strip.
He's
And
like,
so I'm sitting there looking under the sun strip.
oh, you can see through the sun strip, no problem though.
Well, I know, but it's just like force of habit. Like I don't know.
Yeah, like he's
I
like
don't
sitting
wanna look
underneath
through
the
it.
steering wheel turning. I'm like, what are you doing?
Because he doesn't have that. It's like I'm
I'm
used to
just
it.
trying to look, man.
It's like my windshield.
I mean, my
Focus
windshield
is
is-
huge, and like I'm sitting up high, so I can just.
Gosh, sitting in their Focus, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm sitting in a booster seat right now.
I mean, my windshield is just
Should-
black, so
You should sit in my
I
truck.
don't need a
Oh,
sun.
Some people complain about that, but I kind of like it personally.
What? How tall is?
In,
Well,
in the
it
Focus.
just, I got out
Oh.
of my Eclipse and went into a boosted seat.
So I found out what was wrong with that Magnum seat, by the way. Or I think I did.
What?
He said it would be fixed before I bought it. But there's that switch, those go bad. And that's actually just like a little plug. Like you could just unplug that whole switch and plug a new one in. And he said it would fix it. That Magnum was fun to drive.
I don't
It's
doubt it.
it's got some giddy up. I don't know what Nate thought about it. But
Yeah, it's like, even though it's big, it's still a V8.
yeah, and 390 horsepower.
Jesus.
And boy does it go, man. We got it up there. We took it down past the shop. And you know where we went to have my carburetor or my intake dropped off to have it dipped?
Mhm.
Worrells, you know that interstate there that's a 4-lane highway?
Yeah.
I took it out onto that, and once I had it straightened out cuz I didn't want to wreck it. But I stepped on it, and man, I sat back in my seat a little bit, and the ass end kind of crouched down to the ground a little bit, and it took off. It was like 0 to 60 like that. I'm like, whoa.
I want a turbocharger on my car to do that. Nate makes me want a turbo.
I'm gonna have to get a bigger turbo.
But it was,
Huh?
it
I'm gonna have
was.
to get a bigger turbo.
I tell you what, it was cleaner than shit. Like he says she garage kept it for a while, and I mean that was the first thing you said. Aside from that trim piece being knocked off,
Yeah, it was really straight.
like the body was
It's
straight.
better than some of those $10,000 cars we were looking at.
Mm-hmm. And the no sun fading, still shiny paint. Like it was 2005.
It was that blue one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that color like notoriously faded.
Yeah, well, the blue out there in the fucking driveway's fading on the top.
That's what
Like
I
it's
said. It's
yeah.
Maybe it was just a minivan, but every time you see one of those blue minivans, they're half the paint's gone.
Well, and I mean, it's just
Clear cut motherfucker.
apparently she kept it in the garage for most of its life. It had oil changes every 3,000 miles.
Damn.
3,000
It's
miles.
a little excessive, but that's good.
But it's good. He's like, every time I change the oil, he's like, there's still a little bit of clear caramel color to it. And I'm like, yes. Just had rear brakes done. All new rear brakes.
My oil change is too expensive for that.
Yeah. Not if you went to Advance today. They had Royal Purple today. You could have got it for...
Well, maybe you should have told me.
Well, I was going to call you, but it was a 35-minute drive. We can go down another day, or you can go down
Well,
tomorrow.
it'll
Or...
probably be sold out then.
Nah, probably not.
You don't think so?
No, it was like,
Half off
how much
oil?
is a
think it's gonna be sold
quart?
out?
How much is a quart usually of Royal Purple?
$10.
$10? You'd have gotten it for $5.
Damn.
$5 for a quart of Royal Purple. But
I didn't get it.
what did he say? He ended up doing like
Well,
what was it? $2,500 worth of front end work to it
Yeah, something like
to
that.
update the suspension. So the whole front end of the car, suspension wise, is pretty new. He's like, I just put a whole new front suspension in it, not because it needed it, but it just updating it and keeping it on the road and regular maintenance on it. So it's got the engine bay was dirty, but nothing smelled funny, nothing. It was a really nice
I wonder
car.
If little kids will call it shady whenever you pull up to the house.
Yeah, they probably will.
I'm planning on, dude. I'm planning on fucking
Selling drugs out of it.
no,
Did John tell you about that?
no.
Yeah, we pulled up and your brother was like, "What kind of shady car are you pulling up in?"
I know, like what?
Like, what does that
kind
mean?
of shady car? Okay, fair enough.
Are the windows tinted?
On the Magnum, a little bit, but not much.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah, yours are dark.
Same.
Mine's illegal.
I like the Mac. The only thing I
pretty
didn't
sure
like
mine
is the
is.
interior.
On the Magnum?
Yeah, I think I'd like it better if it was black.
I bought it like that.
Yeah, I thought about there's a company that actually makes like fitting leather seat covers for those cars. Like not just the
My
average.
biggest problem is the dash. I like the gray dash.
They
How
don't.
it sticks out like a.
The only way you
fucking
can get that-
over it.
The only way you can get that sportier is if you were to get the SRT8, and those hold their value. You could buy
Does the
even with a.
SRT8 does it have a different? Is there an SRT8 Magnum?
Mm-hmm.
Does it have a different dashboard in it?
Yeah, it's got slightly
Maybe
different.
you can find one that's wrecked. Take the dashboard from it.
Yeah, but the computer in the car is going to be like there's different. There's more or less plugs on one of those that it's not just as easy as bolting it in.
Well,
Because
you just
there
take
was-
take the wire loom out of it and put your wire loom in it.
Maybe. But yeah,
I
those
know a little bit about that because I do that 600 times a day at work.
those hold their value. Even with 130,000 miles, you'll find them listed for right around $14,000.
Yeah, and imagine you probably got like a million dash combinations.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
$14,000 for a car from 2005, but it's got a 6.1 liter Hemi in it, and it's fast.
How much do they want for it?
The one that I'm looking at buying,
Yeah.
he said 5,500 a best offer. I'm going to offer him probably 5. My dad thinks I'll get 5 for it,
That's not
or
bad.
I'll get it for 5. I mean, it's not bad, and it's in great shape. Like, I think he's probably just a little bit over market due to the number of miles that it has. It's got 154,000, but it's been kept so well. Like, the only things that I would need to replace, I need to replace the belt trim on the door, because that lady took it off when she was washing it, and it's just kind of hanging there. And then the struts on the hood and the hatch both need replaced, and those are easy. They're just a little. It's like $30 a piece, which is a little expensive, but
My struts are actually good on my hatch.
yeah. Well,
I'm lucky on that.
I don't have any.
see, I hate that. Ever since my dad got a car with struts on his hood, I think even the van, my mom's van doesn't even have struts, but when you get struts on the hood, I'm never going back to having anything other than that.
I probably would be the same until my struts gave out while working on it. And just boom.
I miss how my truck was. You know, it had the springs on the
Yeah, my car has springs.
Like, and all the
Lock
trucks,
them
and
whenever
all
you-
the trucks have the springs on the side. So it's like, why can't they just put this in the cars?
Ooh,
I don't know.
They held open once you had it all the way open or something.
The other thing I liked about the Magnum RT, when we opened the engine, or not the engine, we didn't open the engine, we opened the hood to look at the engine bay. The Hemi in that car is not backed into the dashboard or the firewall. Like, you've got full access to the engine. Unlike in the truck, the firewall comes over the engine, like it covers the whole back cylinder.
Yeah, because you got a lot of hood in that car,
Yeah.
and they probably didn't. Also, truck transmission, big ass intercooler, space to cool it.
Yeah, it was not like changing the spark plugs in the truck was the biggest pain in the ass because of how recessed that engine was.
Mhm.
So I'm glad that if I ever have to change my spark plugs, it won't be a big pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand a lot of new trucks. Like, the hood stays about the same, but the engine has moved back.
Yeah, like the
It's-
engine bays in these trucks now are huge. But then the engine is like your knees could practically touch it in the
Right,
driver's
right.
seat.
But of course, rotary is a spark plugs are right at the front.
Yeah.
Got 2 per rotor.
Like, Chevys are the same way. It's like there's a big, like, 1.5 foot gap where there's like nothing.
No, it's like use it.
They space. All they really did is they spaced out the radiator and intercooler just a little bit more.
I also think I'm gonna put a shaker hood on it. Because they make them.
Oh, I know
You
they
can
do.
buy them, and they're functional. And I have found some where the shaker actually, you know that plastic V8 Hemi cover that sits on the top of the engine?
Mhm.
I've found some that actually replace that. Like, you take that plastic cover off and you set the shaker hood on top of it. And when you close the hood, it's a functional air scoop. Like, it dumps air into the air intake on the engine. Unlike most of the ricey ones where it's just a molded shaker sitting on top of the hood, it actually functions. So there's some work that I want to do on it. Like I said, I got a resonator for it because I only had one, but it was half off, and I'm like, well, fuck. I want to put something on it until I can afford to get a full system. My plan is to sell that blue van, and whatever I get from that blue van is going to buy exhaust for the Magnum. Because the exhaust kit I want $750.
Does mine. Although I missed it. This holiday they had a 15% off.
Whoops. At least, where were you getting it from? Flowmaster?
Yep.
Yeah, but they got free shipping, if
It was
anything,
like-
over...
Yeah, it was like direct from Flowmaster. It was like it was one of the promotions. Like,
Yeah.
I could have got it for $650.
The thing I like about Flowmaster, though, is free 2-day shipping on orders over $200.
Which is everything.
Yeah,
Almost.
which is pretty much everything they sell. But
I wanted to get Flowmaster for my car.
it was more expensive.
No, it was actually, I think it was cheaper, but it was too narrow.
Oh.
I didn't get it.
So the Magnum has a 2.5-inch downpipe, and then from the catalytic converter is a 2.5-inch in, 2.25-inch out. So the whole system that I'm getting, though, from Flowmaster, I think is just a full bolt-on 3-inch system.
Mm.
So it will go right on the exhaust manifold, and it replaces the downpipe and the catalytic converter
Makes sense
and
to you?
all that stuff.
All the sense.
But
I think the biggest I can get is 2 1/4. That's the
yeah,
Except I think the Borla might be 3-inch, but the Borla sounds like shit. So I'm not.
the other trouble I'm worried about, but I guess if I get the full the look on your face when you did that, you're just like, oh.
It scared me.
There's only like this much space for the resonator wherever they've got the exhaust tips on that car, so
The wing nut
little
holding
confused.
it in is gone.
Yeah,
Really?
I remember 2 weeks ago when I said whoops, and you guys were like, what? And I said nothing.
that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. I
Okay.
dropped it.
Hey, I figured out what happened to it.
Fucking a-hole.
Bitch.
Well, it's 5:30, and I know we started at like 10 till 5, but
We were quiet
we're
for
all-
how long?
yeah, we were silent for the first 15 minutes, but everybody's leaving, and so I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna get some food and talk to that. We might stream later. I have to open again tomorrow morning though, so it depends. It might be a short stream if I do. So
There's 2 viewers.
if I do, we'll be here, and if I don't, we'll see you next time. But thanks for tuning in, and sorry about the silence at the beginning. We will see you all on time next week in full volume at 4:30 on Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.